The road to the SummerSlam 499 continues and makes yet another stop at one of NASCAR's most famed facilities. Tomorrow we tick the countdown clock down to single digits before the biggest sim racing event of the summer hits the racetrack starting next Thursday. Before that, business to attend to here at Talladega once again as we continue to set the entry list for the second annual running of the SummerSlam 499. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, from the virtual Talladega Super Speedway. My name is Dawson Wise, coming to you with PGR eSports coverage of another recruitment race for the SummerSlam 499. We've had several of these to this point. None of them have disappointed. And tonight we make another stop here at Talladega Super Speedway, qualifying on the racetrack as we speak. Looking forward to another fun night of racing. It's a heat racing format yet again. Drivers on the track now to qualify. The qualifying session tonight will set the grid for two 15-lap heats. We'll have a 30-lap feature following that with the top 15 from each heat, advancing into that feature event. The SummerSlam 499 is right around the corner. It starts next Thursday, but you only have 7 days left to get your name in the hat. Go to PGResports.com if you want to be a part of this event next week. You will not want to miss it. $1,700+ to the winner, a championship belt, all kinds of glory. Eyeballs will be on this race. You do not want to miss it. The biggest sim racing event of the summer. We'll talk about the format. We'll talk about the schedule. We'll talk about all things SummerSlam 499 as we go. Again, we are just a week and a half away from race time for the biggest sim racing event of the summer. But business to be attended to tonight. Qualifying is wrapping up, and we will set the grid for heat race number 1. We're going to get right into it fast and furious here tonight at Talladega. 15 laps in this first heat race. There will be 31 cars in each heat. Top 15 will advance from each one. Let's get started, shall we? Heat race number 1, 15 laps on the board. Cars getting on track. Let's head down trackside and get things underway tonight. On the pole for heat race number 1, it's the 25 machine of Wyatt Gray. I believe he'll have the 18 aboard that race car on the sides of that car. Starting second, it's the driver for Vegas Inferno in the Coca-Cola iRacing Series and the defending winner of the SummerSlam 499. It's Malik Ray. 12 on the timing and scoring. He'll be the 1, I believe, on his car. It'll either be the 1 or the 11 on the side of that race car. Row 2 for heat number 1 to be Asher Little in the 32, that's Sundrop Chevrolet, and Rusty Plant starting outside of him in 4th. Row 3 to be Kenny McCullough Jr., the captain from McCullough Motorsports, in the 5th position with Jared Haynes. Let's get that logo out of the way now that I see it. With Jared Haynes, the Jack Shack, outside of him in position number 6. Row 4, it's Dustin Svek in the 7 machine, and Trevor Osmond out another Jack Shack car out there in 8th. Row 5, it's Landon Veleke in the number 62 machine, coming off the microphone and onto the racetrack tonight for an appearance on the track behind the wheel. It'll be the Jack Shack's Kenny Real rolling off from position number 10. Back on row 6, it's going to be Jackson Byes in the number 21 machine tonight on the side of that race car. Matt Frady in the 40 nearly got his first PGR podium last week, looking to finish off what has been a nice run for him into his PGR career headed into the SummerSlam. Starting 13th will be Jason Branch in the 49. Will be Ron Morris Jr., the owner of RMR, in the 76 machine. Row 8 will be Mike Davenport of Team PGR and Quentin Steinbach in the 14 machine. Row 9, welcome back to PGR, Jack Mummert. And if you've been watching for a while, this is a driver that started last year's SummerSlam 499 feature event, made a run into the feature out of his heat race, and is back again here for another go in 17th. It's Michael Wingo starting in the 18th position. Row 10, Nick Loden in the 44, one of the new drivers vying for free entries tonight, along with Victor Turner in the 41. Row 11, another new driver, Bradley Benabose, will start from 21st. It'll be David Drohan back in 22nd. Row 12, another pair of new drivers. It's Chris Walker in the 48 and Cody Eldred in the 63, a member of the Challenger Cup Series that I broadcast on Tuesday nights. Row 13, Nash Brambilla for Team PGR, Joey Israelson in the 58. Row 14 to be Joey Masowicz in the 64, and Adam Tahan in the 29. Doug Camp in the 408 makes a return tonight in 29th, with Fred Anderson back in the 30th position, and Robert Rochelle, Bobby Rochelle that is, in the 888, starting in 31st. 15 laps on the board. Heat number 1, top 15 advance to the feature coming up in just a little bit as we get set for racing at Talladega Superspeedway. 2 15-lap heats will set a 30-car, 30-lap feature tonight at Talladega Superspeedway as we get closer and closer to the start of the SummerSlam 499. Again, a week and a half away. Next Thursday is the first heat races of the SummerSlam 499, as we'll get the event started with 3 heats on Thursday, 3 heats on Friday, 2 heats on Saturday early, then 2 dual races Saturday evening before it all leads up to the granddaddy of them all, the biggest sim racing event of the summer, the 2nd annual running of the PGR SummerSlam 499 on Sunday afternoon at 1 o'clock Eastern. Again, we'll go into that schedule a little more when we have some breaks here between the heats and before the feature. We'll kind of get into the schedule and the format, how that race will work, give you all the details, and continue to hype up what should be an incredible event. Last year's event was one of the best races we've had at PGR for 499 miles before Malik Ray managed to grab the belt and $1,750 in prize money. It was an incredible race. It was a great finish, if I remember it correctly. And it'll be the 3rd crown jewel in PGR's history. The PGR 500 back in February. We expect the defending champion of that race, Daniel Falkingham, to be in the field for the SummerSlam 499. He said last week on our broadcast that's the only thing in PGR he has yet to win. He looks to do so this year in the SummerSlam 499. The pace car will dip down to pit road. It's another recruitment race in PGR. As we gear up for the SummerSlam 499, we'll give you an idea of how the payouts are going to work for the regulars. The new drivers, they're just racing for a free entry. Here we go into the restart zone for the first time. Heat 1 is green. We are racing at Talladega. Coming down to complete lap number 1 of Heat 1, and they are already fanned out all over this 2.66-mile oval. It's Wyatt Gray with the lead on the push from Asher Little, but the outside is rolling, and it's Malik Gray in that familiar black, white, and gold number 1 machine on the outside, pushed by the Jack Shack's Jared Haynes, a former first-time PGR winner. He got his first win a couple of weeks ago. He's pushed by his teammates, Trevor Osbernaut and Kenny Reel, the Jack Shack 3 deep on the outside. Couple cars on the inside to note behind our 2 leaders. How about Kenny McCullough up 2 spots? Dustin Svek up 3. The 7 of Svek, trouble. Out back, it's a couple of cars out back that are around. The caution's going to come out. It's the 4 of Bradley Benabose that's in the outside wall. It's Michael Wingo that's in the inside wall. And the caution flag flies. We'll slow it down for the first time in heat number 1. There's trouble for one of the new drivers tonight, Bradley Benabose. It gets this one started. It was back here towards the tail end of the field. In fact, it's a little ways behind where the rest of the field was running. Let's see if we get a decent TV angle. We may have to go up top, but looks like there's going to be some contact here from the 48. That's Chris Walker. See him out behind the Bradley Benabos and Michael Wingo machines. Michael Wingo there in the middle in that white and green 56. And, oh, maybe they just met in the middle a little bit. Walker up about a quarter, maybe a half a lane. Wingo coming down just a little. And both of them come together in the middle. And, man, the unfortunate loss is going to be for Benabos and another car. The 94 of Fred Anderson, another new driver. Boy, and a big avoidance for Nash Rambilla, one of the Team PGR drivers. As he just snuck through that one. But, man, Benabos, tough break for him. As he goes for a slide to the outside wall and then kind of bounces off of it, comes down. Michael Wingo, I think, might have kept this off the wall. Let's get a quick look at that. We'll go back and take a couple more angles. Man, did he keep this off the wall? Boy, how about that for Michael Wingo? Well, he may have tapped it with that right front, so I'll be interested to see if there's any suspension damage, but certainly not a huge hit for Wingo. We'll have to see when we get back up to speed whether or not he is fully repaired. Go up top, kind of show you what I mean by meeting in the middle, and kind of get used to me saying this. I think we're going to have a number of instances of something like this. There's a bit of a hole there between the 4 and the 48. I don't know if Wingo's looking for that or if he's just trying to side draft. Either way. See, Wingo there stuck middle of 3 wide. And so watch Wingo. You see his left side tires? He dips below the white line, but look at the 48 as well coming up the racetrack of Chris Walker. I'm not sure if Wingo was trying to side draft. Maybe the 48 of Walker wanted up behind him and misjudged just a tad. There's a lot going on, and it also happens about 5 times the speed that we're showing you right there. It is very quick that this all goes down. For reference, we'll show you from up top. Look how fast this happens. And that's all it takes, and you go down to the inside. Look at Wingo's got him locked down. He actually may not have hit the wheel. I thought he hit wheel first. He may have hit that where the splitter kind of juts out just a little bit ahead of the wheel well. He may have gotten a little bit lucky with where he hit the wall and kind of gotten away with one there. Did Michael Wingo. He stayed out on track as Benabos awaits repairs. So a tough break there for both of those cars. All 3, really, if you include Fred Anderson in the 94, by the way, who also got a piece of that one. So a tough break early in heat number 1. And the fact that Benabos continues to sit on pit road tells me they do not have a fast repair. I'm actually not positive if they do or not, but the fact that the 4 is still sitting on pit road would tell me that they do not. Try to verify that at least before the feature, if not before heat 2. Back live. Wyatt Gray continues to lead the field under the caution flag for the first time. Asher Little runs back in second with Kenny McCullough in third. And it's a good run so far for Dustin Svek, looking to make his way into the feature. And it's Malik Ray in the 5th position. Rest of the top 10, Landon Veleke in 6th, Jared Haynes in 7th, Jackson Baez in 8th, Trevor Osmanoff 9th, and Rusty Plant 10th. So let me explain to you the format of tonight just a little bit. You'll see a lot of the names you'll often see on Thursdays for PGR Intimidator Super Speedway Series action, like Wyatt Gray, like Kenny McCullough, like Malik Gray, like Landon Veleke, like Jared Haynes, the winner a couple of weeks ago. Those guys are not racing for free entries into the PGR, into the SummerSlam 499. Those guys are racing for money. There was a buy-in for the regulars, for the money racers, money racing regulars in quotes that we like to call them. Those guys are racing for payouts tonight. We'll give you those payouts during the feature. But those guys are racing for payouts, so they're trying to make it into the feature to run for money. The top 3 finishing new drivers in the feature race, of course, if any make it. There are a lot in the field tonight, so we'll keep an eye on where they are running here throughout the course of the evening. The top 3 finishers of those new drivers, and those are guys that have never started a money race, will get a free entry into next week's PGR SummerSlam 499. So 3 more guys going to be joining the field tonight at the end of tonight's feature, or at the end of one of the heat races if none of those drivers manage to make it into the feature tonight. We will try to give you those names, get them from Race Control, and try to give you those names so that you know the 3 guys who will be racing on entries next week. A number of the regulars that you see tonight have already put their names in the hat. They are already slated to race in next week's event. So a lot of fun coming up next week. We're getting ready to go back under the green flag. Good to see everybody tonight. As everybody filters in, hit the like, hit the share, hit the subscribe. Tell everybody it's PGR Night in America, and we're 10 days away from the SummerSlam 499. We're on a recruitment race tonight. Ball and Cap Productions in the chat. Good to see you. Appreciate the kind words. And Story of Triad, no. I kind of wish someone drove the pace car. It'd be kind of funny. It'd also be a really fun opportunity to get to do that. But no, unfortunately, we don't get to control that. Maybe it's a good thing that we don't. 10 laps to go. Heat number 1. Wyatt Gray, Asher Little on the front row. Green flag's going to go back in the air. Stack-ups in both lanes here. Dustin Svek not on the gas. Asher Little's got no help. Bottom lane goes 4 deep. Malik Ray thought about peeking out in front of Dustin Svek. Not able to. One car got in line back out there behind Jared Haynes. That's Jackson Bice. Asher Little's going to get split, but he makes some contact there. Gray, McCullough, Ray onto the apron. Everybody stays in trouble. Around goes Landon Veleke in the 62, and it's on in turn 1. Davenport's in the wall. Jack Mummert's in the wall. Veleke's in it. Haynes is in it. More cars piling in. Quentin Steinbach gets a piece. Matt Frady gets a piece. Looks like Fred Anderson involved again. And that 94. And all of a sudden, that was a big one. We didn't even make it through turn 1, and Landon Veleke's first car I saw get around. He's got what looks to be suspension damage. Looks like Jared Haynes of the Jack Shacks got pretty bad suspension damage as well. Oh, yeah, you see Landon's car. It's tweaked out just a little bit. Jared Haynes had some pretty bad damage. So did Steinbach. So did Jack Mummert. Well, let's go take a look. It started with Landon Veleke up the banking of turn 1, and it kind of started up here. There's some contact between Asher Little and I think Kenny McCullough. We're just going to go straight to the up top camera. Watch up ahead. The Sundrop Chevy of Asher Little, the 32, and the 03 of Kenny McCullough. Oh, yeah, right there. McCullough gets knocked up the track, perhaps by Malik Ray. Into Little. They save it. And what goes on behind them? Everybody bails to the apron. Oh, boy. Coming up the track. Landon's coming down. Landon sweeps across that bottom lane. And, oh, it starts behind him. It starts out behind Landon. It's the 00. I'm not 100% sure who that car is. But it starts with that car. There was another car in that as well. It started up front. These guys have paint schemes on that just do not line up with their on-track cars. Boy, big hit for Davenport. He's got Mummert in it as well. See Frady. Here comes Steinbach. Here comes Wingo. Maybe an Ashbrand Billa getting a piece. Oh, Bradley Benabos. Oh, man. Just got all that damage fixed. He gets into it. There you see another hit for Steinbach. Boy. I want to figure out who these cars are. There's a couple cars behind Landon Veleke, but they're just... the numbers are not lined up. It's the 33 on the side of the car. But the funny part is there is no 33. Well, let's see. It might not have been Jack Mummert, actually. It may have been Jason Branch. We'll clear that up in a moment as well. So the 00 here is Rusty Plant. I'm not 100% positive who the other car is up front here. It gets a piece of this as well. We're going to go through till we find them because it might have been Jackson Bies. It looks like it is. So it's Bies and Plant that kind of get offset when this whole thing starts. We're actually going to go way back here. You're going to see the contact with Asher Little. There it is. You're going to see Landon Veleke and Dustin Svek move up. And now watch Landon as he cuts back across. I'm not sure. Jackson Bies, is he trying to split here? We see Landon. Boy, that was a close call for Landon. Rusty Plant sees a hole, tries to go through the middle. Bies tries to cover. It's too late. And by the time he covers, Plant is there. They're going to get down into Haynes. And look, I mean, it was just on from right here. Nowhere for Landon Veleke to go. He gets collected. Same with Haynes. Same with Frady. You see the 40. Boy, a couple cars getting hit from out back. 28 was one of them. Oh, man, Davenport. That is a monster hit for Davenport. And that was Jack Mummert. I thought so, in the Mystery Machine car. Or is it? Either way. Looks like the Mystery Machine. Mike Davenport gets in it. Oh, man, Steinbach. I think he committed to the apron and thought he had it missed. Mummert comes back down. Nothing, obviously, that Steinbach can do right there. He's committed to that line. You see Benebo's driving by. You see Jared Haynes. Jared Haynes, his night might be over. In fact, he has called it a night. So Jared Haynes, the first driver to be eliminated from tonight's event on track. We'll tell you about a couple that did not make the field. I want to see if we can find a little bit better angle of this. Look up ahead at Landon Veleke. Did you see this one roll from behind Veleke? He's actually, I think he has it missed. And I was going to say, does Jackson Byes save that? He did. Good catch. Wow. Jackson Byes. There's a big catch from him. We'll go up ahead to Mummert as he gets into it. Oh, man. Davenport rides up the hood. You see Frady back behind this. In the 40, he might be okay. He might have just gotten up underneath Landon Veleke. He might be all right. Here you see Steinbach come sliding in. And that is what's going to cause our second caution of the night. Getting ready to go back green. 6 laps to go in heat number 1. Again, top 15 will advance. We'll give you the drivers in those spots. Wyatt Gray is the leader. Kenny McCullough is second. Malik Ray third. Dustin Svek in fourth. Asher Little 5th. Trevor Osborne in 6th. Rusty Plant 7th. Kenny Reel 8th. Jason Branch 9th. And Nick Loden in 10th. Last 5 drivers that would be in at the race ended right now. David Drohan in 11th. Cody Eldred in 12th, Nash Brambilla in 13th, Michael Wingo in 14th, and Joey Masowicz in 15th. Top 15 make it in. 16th on back are out. Jack Mummert is 1 lap down. Fred Anderson is multiple laps down on pit road. Jared Haynes has called it a night. Everyone else still on the lead lap. 3 cars did not make the start. Adam Tahan, Doug Camp, and Joey Israelson also eliminated tonight. They did not make the grid for heat race number 1. Wyatt Gray back in the restart zone. 6 laps to go. Green flag back in the air. And again, Dustin Svek struggles to get on the gas. He's got a pair of Jack Shack cars behind him telling him, hey, let's get on going. Give him a little friendly encouragement, if you will. Look at Kenny McCullough slipping in line. Now it's the Jack Shack cars leading the outside. They've got some help from out back as well. And that Gold 24 machine that I believe is Nick Loden. Don't quote me on that, though. But I think that car behind him is Nick Loden. And boy, all of a sudden, they've got a triple tandem coming towards the front. As Nick Loden holds onto the train, couple cars out of line, back further in the field. Trouble. Around goes one car, spinning to the inside. We might keep this green. That was Jason Branch. And we keep it green up front. We'll continue to watch the transfer spot. Through turns 3 and 4, still Gray, Malik Ray, and Asher Little on the inside. On the outside, Osborne not real. Oh, they get disconnected just a little bit. No, Nick Loden. That's the man out to dry on that outside lane. He's got no help right now. Let's see if he gets in. He's coming back to the line. 5 laps to go. One car jumping out to help the Nick Loden machine. I could not for the life of me tell who it was. Oh, just went around him is what they did. Still can't exactly tell who that is in that car back there, but nonetheless, Loden gets back in line, and all of a sudden it's single file back to Loden in the 12th position. Make it 13 single file with Nash Brambilla getting all the way through. And Mike Davenport make it 14 single file out of 15 spots in the feature. I wonder if these guys are just going to try to break. No, not so much. Quentin Steinbach, Nick Loden says, see you later. Drops him to the outside, gets another spot. Michael Wingo, does he want to go for this here? Peeking out of line around Rusty Plant. Almost getting turned. Wingo making the save. 3 wide back around Nick Loden and Michael Wingo. They're going to race to the transfer spot surely now. 4 laps to go at the line. Loden almost gets turned by Brambilla. Now he bails back to the bottom. 3 wide back here with Rashal, Steinbach. It's the 63 of Eldred. There's a lot of carnage happening back here around the transfer positions. We'll keep an eye there, but up front, top 8 cars are starting to break away. They're about 5/10, 6/10 clear of that second group, but now that second group's gotten it together. They are getting back into the fight now, catching up to this group that really, I mean, if I was at top 8, if we had gotten broken up right there, I'm sitting in line, we're just making the feature, we're going to learn to race another day. All single file all the way through nearly this entire lead draft, which is only 17 cars. Back to Cody Eldred. 3 laps to go in heat number 1. Wyatt Gray and Malik Ray, they're plenty settled to just race up here and push each other. I can't imagine that anything to endanger either of these cars is going to be done here in the last 3 laps of this heat race. Pair of Jack Shack teammates up here with Real and Osborne. See if they make any moves. Joey Masowicz out of line back around Mike Davenport. No dice. Nobody going with him right now. Ooh, Rusty Plant off the racetrack. Not sure what happened to the double zero. He's going to try to come back up right in front of Nick Loden. As these guys come through turns 3 and 4 and off the final corner, they'll come back and get popsicle sticks from Barney the Flagman. It'll be 2 laps to go. Top 7 looking to break away once again. Back to Dustin Svek in that 7. 2 cars out of this lead pack are going to miss the show. Everybody else is going to make it. In fact, now it's only 1 as Cody Eldred's lost the draft. I've been informed it's 16. I believe it's still only going to be 15. There's some technicality. I heard about it last week when I actually raced this. There's some technicality. That's the reason they do 16. We're assuming it's 15 for right now. We're going to race like it's 15. If it's 16, everybody in this pack's going to make it, so just keep that in mind. Off turn 2 for the penultimate time. Coming back to the white flag, heat number 1. It's Wyatt Gray. Blake Gray, Asher Little. No change, top 7. First battles for 8, Joey Masowicz and Rusty Plant. Masowicz starting to gain a little bit of ground, though. He's got some help behind him, too. Ron Morris is there. Michael Wingo is there. Nick Loden is not there. It's actually Bobby Rashall. They might lose the draft, but again, white flag. If it's 16, they'll all race for it. If not, there's 1 spot up for grabs. Back in that 15th position. Look at Dustin Svek getting racy. He's now in front of Joey Masowicz. Ooh, don't wreck, though. Masowicz going to split to the middle. He's got help from Ron Morris. They're going to split out back of these guys, though. They're going to go 3 wide, right back around that 10th position. No, man, it's not a good idea if they wanted to go forward, and their momentum is going to be gone here. Does anybody up front go for the heat win? Does everybody just stay in line? See Asher Little, very conservative. Masowicz gets to the outside of McCullough. That's for 6th. He'll get maybe to Kenny Reel for 5th. To the outside, here comes Asher Little. Trevor Osmonot goes with him. Gray throws the block to the safer barrier. Does Little go to the inside now? He does. Here comes the sun drop Chevy. Asher Little to the inside. Osmonot may look 3 wide at the line. He won't. He'll push Wyatt Gray. He'll dip out. Oh my goodness, there was a car at the start-finish line. Well, Wyatt Gray wins the heat, but not before someone was sitting on the start-finish line and just clobbered the entire field. Again, it was the checkered flag. Nash Brambilla beats Bobby Rashall for the 15th and final position. Again, if it is 16, we'll verify when we get to the feature, but if it's 16, then Bobby Rashall is in as well. There are only 16 cars in the lead pack regardless. I want to try to take a quick look. Who in the world was sitting on the start-finish line here? I mean, there's no way to see this. I'm watching the finish. Good finish, by the way. They end up 3 wide here. Trev goes through the middle. Who is sitting on the start-finish line? Oh, well, we're not going to get to see because we got to go to heat number 2. But somebody was sitting right on the start-finish line right when the field got back around. Now, luckily, it was the checkered flag. Did not affect anything in terms of heat finishing order. Well, trying to get down trackside for the start of heat number 2, but now let's see if we can't just fast forward this the fun way to get back to live. We may have to do a little bit of fun technical expertise there, but anyways, apologies for that technical difficulty. Let's get trackside now and get you the grid for heat race number 2 after a fun ending, I guess, if you will, to heat number 1. But 15 more laps here in heat number 2, and we're going to set the field for the feature. We'll also go back through when we get to the feature and show you the drivers that made it out of heat number 1 as well. On the pole for heat number 2, a former Podium 500 winner and a man who's won everything there is to win in money racing, it seems. It's Kyler Wynn in the 84. Alongside him will be Cade McClenny, coming back for the first time since the PGR 500. He'll start on the outside of row number 2. Row 2, will be Chris Carter in the 45 machine, 25 on the side of that car. Axel Smith in the 11 on the timing and scoring the 22 on the side of that race car. Row 3, it's David Flanagan for the Jack Shack. It'll be the 16 on the side of the car, that Ford Mustang. And Chris Summers in the 22, one of the newer drivers to PGR. Row 4, Brian Hennings in the 74 for Team PGR, alongside the Jack Shack's Joe Huerta in the 1. Row 5 will be Brett Malone, one of the new drivers in the field tonight, and Josh McCullough for the McCullough boys back in 10th position. Row 6 will be Andre Chickham in the 52, and Danny Barnes in the 35 machine. Back on row 7, William Rice makes a return tonight in the 51. It'll be Gergo Danko in position number 14 in the 15 machine. Trevor Quisenberry rolls from 15th tonight. Tim Felker on the outside of him in row number 8 in 16th. Row 9 will be Carson Pogue in the 60, and Ryan Bailey in the number 16 machine. Row 10, Bruce Barnard in the 18. Brody Landry in the 2 machine will roll off from 20th. Keith Prince goes from 21st in this second heat race with Brad Riemann 22nd. It'll be Miles Bagley back in 23rd. Had a really nice run on Thursday night in the ARCA cars. David Sheets in the 24th position here in heat number 2. Daniel Falkingham, the defending PGR champion and PGR 500 winner in the 039. Also runs for 6 Karma eSports in the Coca-Cola iRacing Series. He'll go from 25th. And it's the most recent PGR winner, Stephen Miles, rolling from 26th position. Row 14, it'll be Nick Seipel in the 75, and John Ward, the Talladega Pros, in the 92. Row 15, Brandon Combs in the 43, alongside Tucker McClendon in the 00. It'll be Mark Von Dell from McCullough Motorsports in the 31st and final position. 1 heat down, 1 heat to go, 15 laps to determine who will race in the feature event coming up in just a few minutes. Pace cars down, Kyler Wynn, Cade McClenny on the front row, getting you ready for heat number 2. Haven't had a chance to go through the chat. I will try as soon as I can. If we get a caution flag, we'll go through the chat. In the meantime, green flag going to go in the air. Heat number 2 is underway. We're racing once again from Talladega. Boy, you want to talk about dicing it up early. That's exactly what these guys are going to do. New leader in Talladega is Cade McClenny, but not for long. Up on the outside, oh man. Big pushes from Axel Smith and Kyler Wynn, but on the outside, it's the trainer rolling once again. Joe Huerta in the 1 machine wants to lead. He's got a couple cars out back of him. Josh McCullough and Gergo Danko, one of the new drivers tonight, 3rd on the outside, getting racy. Trouble out back. Cars around, it's the big one early. Stephen Miles, couple other cars sideways through the grass and sliding to a stop. Brody Landry is involved. Danny Barnes is involved. William Rice is in it as well. And much as we did in heat number 1, an early caution in heat number 2. And it's the most recent winner of the PGR race, Stephen Miles, that gets a piece of this one. A few other cars. Now this one seems to be a little bit less damaging than the first wreck in heat number 1, but let's go take a look. See if we can get a decent chopper camera for this. May not. Maybe in a blind spot here off turn number 4. No, we're going to get a pretty good angle. Oh, big push there from Stephen Miles to William Rice. Gets the 51 out of shape. Up the track into Brody Landry. Landry goes sideways into Danny Barnes. There's Miles. Another car's in it as well. It's the 5. Now, it's not the 5 on the timing and scoring, so I'm not particularly sure who that car is. We'll have to verify it in a moment. But really, after the contact, all these cars kind of just slide through the grass. There was some contact from that 5 machine. Again, we'll have to verify exactly who that is in just a moment. But really, for Landry, Miles, Rice, and Barnes, after a little bit of contact, it was just a spin. And I mean, all things considered, no harm, no foul. I mean, obviously, you lose track position. Your tires are now pretty well heated up, but again, could have been a lot worse considering what we saw in heat number 1. Look at the move out back from Miles. He's trying to make up spots. He's just going to try to push William Rice. There's nowhere else for him to go. He goes middle of 3 wide. And off turn 4, you're going to see the hit from Miles to the back of that 51. While we're in this replay, I want to figure out for the life of me who that 5 car is. I thought initially it was Daniel Falkingham. It's not. It's Carson Pogue in the 2 on the timing and scoring. It's the 5 right here on the side of the car. He may have some wheel damage because of this. He gets into Brody Landry. He's actually in the 60, excuse me. But he may get a piece of this. Try to get a couple more decent looks at it here. You'll see the contact up ahead and see Pogues on the inside of this kind of 3 wide area. And here comes Stephen Miles, and he just kind of gets a little bit offset, not a ton. Doesn't want to stop his momentum. You don't want to stop your run. It's going to kill his track position, kill any momentum he has. He gets in the back of William Rice, and it was on from there. But again, as we go back one more angle of this, all things considered, I feel like this one could have been a lot worse. Watch these cars they make a little bit of contact, but then really it's just an innocent spin through the grass and also through pit road. So, again, that could have been so much worse, the drivers involved. Boy, this thing is doing this again. No clue why it's doing that. We may have to... give it one of these. Let's give it one of these and see if we get this thing to quit acting up. If not, we may go during the break between the heats and the feature and get the overlays reworking. Did some new things with the overlays. I heard somebody mention it in the chat. Do some new things to get in the mood for the SummerSlam. Get in the spirit for that race. Top 10 as they run. Joe Huerta, Cade McClenny, Josh McCullough, Axel Smith, Gergo Danko is your top 5. David Flanagan, Chris Carter, Brian Hennings, Andre Chickham, and Brett Malone is your top 10 as they run. There'll be 11 laps to go when we get back under the green flag in just a moment. Do want to acknowledge the chat. Brody Landry in the chat. He's racing in this heat. He was just involved in that first incident. Infinite Frost as well. Gergo Danko is in the race right now. 16's third on the inside, P5. It was Brody Landry who mentioned the stream layout. I appreciate that. I was working on it earlier. I was like, I want to get in the spirit for the SummerSlam. So let's kind of do up the broadcast just a little bit and kind of get set for it. Budenips in the chat. Cody Nagel's in the chat. Not on the racetrack tonight. A little surprise, but Cody watching along. Customized Wolf in the chat. Kenny Reel in the chat, who was in our first heat race. Appreciate everybody for coming out and being with us here on a Monday night. As we continue on towards the SummerSlam 499. Tell you a little bit about the format for that race and the scheduling. Thursday night next week, Thursday, August 31st, will be our first night of racing. It'll get kicked off with heat race number 1 of 8. There'll be 8 total heat races, 25 cars in each, for a max entry list of 200. Our first 3 are on Thursday night at 8 p.m. Eastern, 9 p.m. Eastern, and 10 p.m. Eastern. That'll be live here on the PGR eSports Network. It'll be one continuous link. The second night on Friday will be the same thing. Heats 4, 5, and 6 at 8, 9, and 10 p.m. Eastern. Also one continuous link. Saturday afternoon at 1 and 2 will be heats 7 and 8. The duels Saturday evening at 4 p.m. and 5:30 p.m. Eastern. And the feature race, the SummerSlam 499, Sunday afternoon. A green flag time. Oh, trouble. One car into the outside wall. We'll talk about that in a second as one car has just snapped out of line and gone all the way to the back. We'll have to check back there who that is. The car's got it rolling again. But who is this back here? It's Brian Hennings. And he has knocked the wall at the right front of that car. Looked like some technical issue for Hennings, and he's going to have to try to nurse this thing and hope we get another caution up front. It's a scramble. that has kind of broken the field up here towards the front end. And 5 cars have been able to pretty much drive away. Now, they will not for long. You see that top lane, Daniel Falkingham pushing hard on Brett Malone, and gear up for a ride. If you're Brett Malone, one of the toughest and most aggressive pushers in the business is Daniel Falkingham. He's bringing Nick Seipel to the front with him, and a brand new paint scheme for Seipel for the SummerSlam 499. But up front, it's Huerta, McClenny, Smith, McCullough, and Flanagan that got away like bandits on that restart. Out back, 3 wide, 4, 5, 6 rows deep at one point. And those guys are going to lose this draft. But this front pack will double up. That will allow that pack to catch up a little bit because Falkingham's sending Brett Malone all the way to the point. How about Brett Malone and that 98 machine up on his horse into the lead at Talladega on the push from Falkingham. Daniel Falkingham, the defending winner of the PGR 500, the defending PGR champion for 2024. And this front 8 cars have broken away for a moment. That second group slowly starting to reel them in, though, as they all get back kind of in one line, or at least a couple. Single file now back all the way 10, 12, 14 cars deep. Kyler Wynn, Stephen Miles, a couple other cars, Tucker McClendon. It's about 15 or 16 deep now, single file. Ooh, one car tried to get out of line. They get all out of shape back around Kyler Wynn and Josh McCullough. Car out of line looked to be, I thought it was David Flanagan. Turned out it was John Ward. 9 laps to go still. Brett Malone putting on a show here at the front of the field, leading the way in heat race number 2 with Falkingham, McClenny, Seipel, and Axel Smith in behind them. Malone looking to make the feature, looking for one of the 3 free entries in the SummerSlam 499, but Kyler Wynn's got a push from Stephen Miles out back of him, and those guys are going to have a monster run when they get there. They've got their teammate Nick Seipel with them as well. Excuse me, not Nick Seipel. That's a different car. Apologies. Seipel's up front. Here come Wynn and Miles to the outside of Ward. They'll get to the outside of Flanagan, and watch for cars to jump out in front of him here because they've got a big run. And they're coming to the front. Out back of them, they can't really get it figured out back around Tucker McClendon, Josh McCullough. Gergo Danko's in that group. Andre Chico, Miles Bagley, Mark Vondell. We may end up with 15 total in the lead draft when the time all is said and done. Back around Vondell and Summers as those guys try to hang on to the tail end of this draft. Up front, here comes Wynn. They've got help behind them. Falkingham jumps out in front of the 84, and all of a sudden, now it's the driver for 6 Karma eSports and the defending champion of the PGR 500, Daniel Falkingham, to the point. And 2 of the most experienced pushers on his back bumper, Kyler Wynn and Stephen Miles. Ooh, almost trouble. Cade McClenny, how did he save that? The 4, if McClenny gets out of shape, he saves it. On the outside, it's Jack Shack teammates now, Huerta and Flanagan. They'll try to pick up Miles, but they both drop back to the inside. The car out of line, back towards the tail end of this lead draft is, I believe, still Josh McCullough. But he'll drop in line in front of Nick Seipel. First 2 have broken away by 0.3 of a second. That is never a good sign in this car. They've tandemed away just a little bit. The field laps by Brian Henning slow on the apron as he'll go 1 lap down. He desperately needs a caution now to have any hope of getting back in this one. No advance to the outside. 7 laps to go. Heat race number 2. Falkingham, Wynn, Miles, Huerta, and Flanagan, your top 5. Now in advance to the outside. Cade, McClenny, and the Busch Light Ford. It's Nick Seipel, John Ward that go with him. 2 by 2 now. It's still 7 rows deep in the field, but with 3 cars and that side trap, you can make it happen. Seipel, an aggressive pusher as well. And here comes the outside. McClenny, hold on to it. If you're that Ford machine, these guys are going to push all night long, and they're going to push hard, and they're going to push in the corners. You're going to see it all night, especially from the regulars. We've gotten a little bit used to pushing in this car when you're in the corner, and that's what Seipel's trying to do on McClenny right now. Ward with them. So is Asher Little in that blue and gray and black and gold 22 machine on the outside. Now Miles going to try to take it. Too little, too late. Here comes Cade McClenny. It's a huge run to the outside. They'll split down the back. McClenny able to now push on Falkingham as Wynn looks to the inside for the race lead. He'll drop back to Miles, Huerta, and Flanagan. Tucker McClendon's caught this pack, and all of a sudden, the lead draft is only 12 cars back to Josh McCullough. From there, it's a battle for the transfer that we'll go back and watch here in a moment, but we got to keep it up front for now. Coming back to 5 laps to go. Falkingham, McClenny, Seipel, Ward, and now Axel Smith is your top 5 as they all blow by Kyler Wynn. Stephen Miles to the outside. Even higher goes Brett Malone. Now this group behind the top 5, they may get driven away from here as well. They may get broken. in this draft because McClenny is really pushing on the back of Falkingham, trying to pick the pace up. Malone, McClendon going to bail all the way to the back end. They're going to try to just drop in line. If it stays green, they're both feature racing, so they're just going to drop in and hope they can run away from this pack that is 3.5 seconds behind them. Kyler Wynn to the outside. Huerta says no, sir. Miles to the safer barrier, going to try to pick up Kyler Wynn. Where does David Flanagan go? He's going to go up for a moment and then come back down to the help of his teammate Joe Huerta. Only 2 cars on the outside, Wynn and Miles. Ward looks, no run. Here comes McClendon to help those guys out. And here comes McClenny. Cade McClenny to the outside of Daniel Falkingham. The forward to the lead with Seipel's help. Ward goes by, and Daniel Falkingham, loneliest man in the world, headed back to Joe Huerta. 5 rows deep, 6 rows deep in the field. Kyler Wynn and Stephen Miles, they got something going on the outside now. That helped them a lot. Same with Tucker McClendon. It'll help Brett Malone also. McClenny up front, taking the push from Nick Seipel. Ward and Smith, follow in line with Kyler Wynn in 5th. They're going to run the middle here down the back straightaway, not the bottom. We saw a lot of guys in last night's McCullough Motorsports race, you caught that one, run the bottom when they got up front. It really worked, but not so much anymore because here comes Kyler Wynn. Seipel thought about throwing the block, not able to yet. He still might. It's Wynn, Miles, Falkingham, Huerta, Malone, and Flanagan on the outside coming back. 3 laps to go, and Talladega in heat number 2. You cannot race too hard if you're this top 12. You're in. If you just race it back to the start-finish line, well, the money racer in each of these guys knows that they'd rather go win the race. It's the instinct that they have. Big push on the outside. They tandem together. Kyler Wynn to the outside of the field. He's got Miles. Flanagan, where do you go? Not Flanagan. Falkingham, where do you go through the 39? Joe Huerta, and all of a sudden, here comes Brett Malone once again. Then it's Flanagan, and he battles Kate McClenny. That's for 6th. On the inside, couple lap cars. Danny Barnes going to go 1 lap down. On the inside, still McClenny and Seipel, but they've got no help. McClendon is trying everything he can to get there. On the bottom side of the racetrack in 3 and 4. Another car looking out. That was Axel Smith for a moment, but it's single file most of the way deep. Now it's 4 cars on the inside. McClenny, McClendon, and Seipel have some help in the form of Axel Smith. 2 laps to go. Popsicle sticks at Talladega. Top 8 on the wall. 4 cars on the bottom, led by Cade McClenny. McClendon looks around to the middle, but now drops back down. Here comes Flanagan, but he only comes down as far as the middle, trying to side draft. They'll get up to the left rear of Flanagan. Huerta's going to try to block that bottom lane on the push now of McClenny, and we're racing. It is on at Talladega. Here we go. The moves for the win starting to be made. Out back moves for the transfer positions, but potentially they'll have to go back and look at it in a minute. Miles Falkingham double to the inside of Kyler Wynn. Miles right back up on the nose of Wynn. Falkingham wants to lead on the push from Huerta. Malone 3rd in line on the outside now. All of a sudden, McClenny's got the help he needed. It's Daniel Falkingham that goes to the point, and when they get back around, this race is official. Again, these 12 are locked in. If they'll just calm down and race calm, they won't want to, though. Huerta gets split 3 wide. Miles and Wynn to the outside. They take Malone with them on the inside now. Falkingham with the 4 of McClenny, and all of a sudden Huerta now, he's got his teammate David Flanagan, but they're going the wrong way. Outside Miles, Wynn, Malone, inside Falkingham, McClenny, Seipel, McClendon, and Axel Smith. Huerta gets in on the outside in front of Josh McCullough. Double file drag race down the Alabama Gang super stretch. Falkingham gets out front by half a car length. Miles down to side draft. It's 2x2 tandem racing in turn 3. Falkingham, Miles, they're going to drag race all the way back. You cannot be too aggressive here. You got to be careful. These guys all want to race. Miles is sideways. Look at Brett Malone go to the middle with Joe Huerta. The 98, he gets hung out in the middle of the tri-oval. Miles gets a big push from Wynn. That's all she wrote for heat number 2. Stephen Miles wins a chaotic one in the 2nd heat. And let's go back here. Who's going to get the final transfer spots? Andre Chickham, Mark Vondell, and Chris Summers. And if there are 16, it's Miles Bagley that gets the final one as that battle falls apart on the final lap of tonight's 2nd heat race. And I and all of you can take a breath. That was good stuff. So heat racing is done and over with. A really good finish to heat number 2 as Stephen Miles powers past Daniel Falkingham on the final lap to win. Here are the drivers that are in: Stephen Miles, Kyler Wynn, Daniel Falkingham, Cade McClenny, Joe Huerta, Brett Malone, Josh McCullough, John Ward, Tucker McClendon, Nick Seipel, Axel Smith, David Flanagan, Andre Chickham, Mark Vondell, Chris Summers, and maybe, if it's 16 drivers, Miles Bagley. So we'll have a warm-up. Let me go back there and see if it was 15 or 16. It may have been even more than that, honestly. We got a bunch of guys. There's a bunch of guys on track that did not take laps. I'm looking for Miles Bagley and Bobby Rashall. Bobby Rashall's listed on here. I'm not seeing Miles Bagley. Actually, yeah, Bagley's listed as well. So we'll just have to wait and see. Both cars are listed on my timing and scoring. We'll have to wait and see if they're on the grid for this feature event. Coming up in just a moment. I'm not sure if I can go back to heat race number 1. I don't think timing and scoring is going to let me from here. Or I would go back to heat 1 and see who is sitting on the start-finish line at the end of heat number 1. Let's do a quick test while we're in the warm-up, see if our overlays have fixed themselves, and sure enough, they have. So no stream restart required. And I'm now being told it was apparently Victor Turner that was sitting on the start-finish line, which, again, checkered flag, didn't really affect the heat finish. So, to me, no harm, no foul. Since it didn't affect finishing positions, it didn't eliminate anybody, so I don't think that we can be too angry at it, but did make for an interesting moment there at the end of heat number 1. Mike Davenport in the chat, Heath Job in the chat. Hope you guys are doing well. Hunter Allen in the chat. Shout out to everybody for using the chat. Good viewership tonight, too. Thanks so much for coming out and giving these guys a moment of your time. A moment of what I'm sure has been a busy Monday for a lot of people. Thanks for spending it with us here on PGR eSports. We're about to go feature racing. It's 30 cars. It's 30 laps. Some for money. Some just for an entry, a chance in the SummerSlam 499. A lot of storylines coming up. This should be a good one as warm-up gets done and over with, and we will get in to the starting grid for tonight's feature race. 30 laps on the board. Heat 1 on the inside, Heat 2 on the outside's how they'll line up, and let's take a look at it as they will line up for this feature race event. 30 laps at Talladega to end the night on PGR eSports. It's Wyatt Gray, the winner of heat race number 1, that will go from the pole of the feature event. The heat race number 2 winner, Stephen Miles, to his outside in position number 2. And again, inside row heat 1, outside row heat 2. And we'll go back through it from there. Row 2, Asher Little in the 32, Kyler Wynn in the 84. Row 3, it's Malik Ray in the 12. Daniel Falkingham in the 39, a pair of Coke Series drivers. Row 4, it's Trevor Osborne for the Jack Shack and Cade McClenny in the 05 with the 4 on the side of the car. Row 5, Joey Maswicks in the 64, and Joe Huerta also for the Jack Shack back in 10th. Row 6, another Jack Shack car, it's Kenny Reel. And Brett Malone, one of the stars of heat race number 2, he'll roll from 12th here in the feature. Ron Morris, the owner of Ron Morris Racing in the 76, will roll from 13th. It'll be Josh McCullough for the McCullough Motorsports team in 14th. Row 8, again, the McCullough Motorsports captain, Kenny McCullough, will roll from 15th. And it's the Dega Pros owner, John Ward, in 16th and a 92. Row 9, Nick Loden in the 44 machine, and Tucker McClendon in the 00. Row 10, Dustin Svek in the 7, and Nick Seipel in the 75. Row 11, Rusty Plant in that 38 machine, 00 on the side of his car. Axel Smith, 22 on the car, 11 on the timing and scoring. He'll go from 22nd. Mike Davenport in the 55 for Team PGR goes from 23rd with David Flanagan with the Jack Shack in 24th. Michael Wingo will go from 25th in this feature with Andre Chickham back in 26th. Quentin Steinbach in 27th. Mark Mondell 28th. Ash Brambilla 29th. And Chris Summers in 30th. So it was not 16, it was 15. Unfortunately, Bobby Rashall and Miles Bagley eliminated tonight, finishing 16th in their respective heats. The field works back to Chris Summers in 30th. 3 cars have not taken to the track. Axel Smith had a problem there on the grid. You might have seen him spin out towards the back end of the grid. He's sitting on pit road. Nick Loden and Nash Brambilla also sit on pit road, meaning we have 27 that will start the race from the grid. And again, if you did not catch it earlier, here's how tonight works. The regulars of money racing, and I will point out when it is not one, are racing for money tonight. They're racing for payouts. We'll get to those on our first caution flag. The new drivers in the field, I'm talking guys like Andre Chickham. I'm talking Brett Malone, Dustin Svek, potentially. We'll have to double check on that one if we get to it. And it would be Nick Loden, although he's on pit road. If Dustin Svek has made a couple of starts, so we'll have to see if perhaps we'll have to see if he still counts as a new driver in quotes. We'll see, but if not, then Nick Loden's going to get one of those spots just by default. But here we go. 30 laps to end the night at Talladega Super Speedway. Wyatt Gray, Stephen Miles will bring the field into the restart zone for the first time. Some for money, some for entries, all for a win in a PGR sanctioned race. Green flag is in the air. We're racing for the final time tonight at Talladega. Down the backstretch for the first time, Wyatt Gray up to the middle to Malik Ray and Trevor Osmond, and already dicing back and forth is this big 30-car field. As Gray and Ray will drop to the inside, it leaves Jack Shack cars 1-2 in the middle. That's Osmond and Real. There goes Huerta to the bottom to the push of Wyatt Gray. And these guys are all over the place early. Middle line, Osmond Real, and it was Ron Morris and David Flanagan. Flanagan jumps out of line. Stephen Miles, Kyler Wynn still clear at the front. So too is Daniel Falkingham and McClenny, although that battle for fourth will pick up with Huerta on the push from Gray. 4 wide, back around Osbornoff. John Ward gets split out to no man's land. Jumps to the wall in front of David Flanagan. Josh McCullough to the inside. Here comes Brett Malone on the outside, fourth in line. McCullough looks to the middle, thinks better of it, jumps back to the outside. Still, Stephen Miles. Falkingham drops down on the bumper of Huerta. Only 3 cars now on that inside line. Look out back at Rusty Plant. Nick Seipel top to bottom, jockeying everywhere. 2 laps on the board, and here comes the bottom. Huerta, big push to Falkingham. Battle for the lead is in turn 3 as Falkingham gets all the way there. Huerta, oh, that was a close block from Falkingham right there off turn 4. It's going to get Brett Malone split. It might get him split twice. It will get him split twice. It's going to get him wrecked. Trouble. Brett Malone goes sideways off Flanagan. Big contact for Ron Morris Jr., and around goes 3-4 cars in the tri-oval on lap 30. You kind of saw it coming. The run was behind Brett Malone. David Flanagan was getting pushed. They were about 5 cars deep in the middle. Malone got split 4 wide, and they came together in the same real estate. Malone got sideways. Flanagan got a piece. Ron Morris got a piece. As they crash in the tri-oval on the first caution flag of this feature race. 4 deep in the middle. It's 3 Jack Shack cars. Flanagan, Osborne, Real, and it was Ron Morris, that last car in line. Malone gets shuffled out after the move up front by Falkingham. And they've got a big head of steam coming to him in the form of Flanagan. Flanagan sees a gap in that second lane. Knows he can't knock his momentum at all to push. And it kind of just come together. No real turn from either one. They kind of just drove into the same spot. But it gets the 98 sideways. Oh, big hit for Rusty Plant. He gets halfway up in the air. Flanagan spins sideways. He's involved in it. There you see the big hit for Ron Morris. Kenny Real, holy cow. I'll go back and spotlight that 88. I have no idea how he parted the seas on that one. Go back and take a look again. Looking at Kenny Real back there in that blue, white, and black Jordan 88. We'll put a focus on him. We'll kind of start where the wreck started, but we'll still try to kind of focus on Kenny Real. See Malone gets split. They kind of drive into the same real estate. Watch Kenny Real in that Jordan car. Oh, boy. I mean, he's weaving through a minefield there in the tri-oval. He makes his way through it. But for Malone, for Flanagan, and for Ron Morris, this is a tough one. As they came into the trial, they see Malone get shuffled right there. Flanagan is going easily, probably 8 to 10 miles an hour faster than Malone here. If he lifts or hits the brakes, he's going to get driven through by his teammate, Trevor Osronoff. But at the same time, he's probably got another half a lane he can use, and instead, just comes together with Malone and gets him sideways. Oh, man, Malik Ray was close to getting involved in that one as well, and that one on the inside. There you see the hit for Plant. He gets up into the air. Look at Masowicz as well, getting on the brakes. And then, Ron Morris almost missed it, but he's going to back it in the fence. That's a couple hard hits right there. Joey Masowicz scrambles to the grass. Try to get a couple onboard cameras. I want to go to both Kenny Reel and Joey Masowicz here and give you the onboards from their cars. First, the 88, the Jack Shack racing car, Kenny Reel. I mean, like Lightning McQueen, he's having to dodge through a heaping pile of metal there in the tri-oval. We'll go to Joey Masowicz now, running on the inside. You'll see it develop in front of him. And watch this. He's having to dodge Plant. He's having to dodge Flanagan. Great efforts by both of those cars. Back live at Talladega Superspeedway. Lap 4 on the board here in the feature. And somehow, Nash Brambilla's gotten to the race lead. Not sure he started from the pits, or maybe his pit started and I didn't see it, but he's currently scored as the leader. We'll see if that changes here at the line or if it doesn't, but it looks like he's going to be scored the leader. Perhaps pit started and just came out a little late, missed the wreck, and decided, hey, I'm just going to stay out and get my track position, and looks like that's exactly what he did. So it'll be Nash Brambilla starting on the front row here with the control of the restart. Daniel Falkingham to his outside in second. Row 2, Stephen Miles and Wyatt Gray. Row 3, Joe Huerta and Kyler Wynn. Row 4, Nick Seipel and Cade McClenny. Row 5, Josh McCullough and Malik Ray. So we're getting ready to go back green. 25 laps to go in the feature tonight. We'll see if Nick Loden has turned a lap. He has not. And if I'm not mistaken, we'll have to get clarification from race control, but if I'm not mistaken, it should be Andre Chickham, Dustin Svek, and Brett Malone that will get the entries to the SummerSlam 500. We'll have to get clarification on Svek. I think he's made a PGR start, but I can't recall off the top of my head. We'll have to double-check on Cade McClenny as well, but I almost guarantee we're not going to consider Cade McClenny a new PGR driver, a new money racer. He raced in the PGR 500 back in February. So I can't imagine that he'll be considered one. It should be Andre Chickham, Dustin Svek, and Brett Malone. It might be Nick Loden, depending on Svek's status, but we'll find out at the end of this feature race. Well, Nash Brambilla did not start the field, does not start this race with the majority of the field, but decided to start it just a little bit late. Now takes advantage of some track position, and we'll restart this one with 25 laps remaining. Daniel Falkingham to his outside, and we're going to get this one going once again into the tri-oval and headed for the restart zone for the second time in this feature. Brambilla, Miles on the inside, Falkingham, Gray on the outside. Green flag back in the air. We're back underway. It's a good start both ways for the leaders, but behind them, their help not as quick to the trigger. Miles, Gray both get on their respective cars in front of them now to be the outside rolling better. Malik Ray splits immediately and takes Trevor Osborne with him. McClenny hung in the middle. McClendon comes to his aid. 2 cars up top, now 3 cars up top. Here comes Kenny Reel. Mike Davenport will file up there, so will Andre Chickham. Miles goes all the way to the top. I don't know how that car got all the way up there. Cade McClenny, they're taking advantage of him just a little bit as he goes backwards to the push of Tucker McClendon. He'll have John Ward, though, and a couple of other cars in line with him. On back from there. Davenport looks to the middle, and all of a sudden, well, I thought McClenny was going to get some help, and now he'll fade to the top. Up front, Falkingham, Gray, Wynn, Miles, and Ray have gotten clear to the top 5. And it's a pair of Jack Shack cars, Osborne and Reel, 6th and 7th on the outside lanes. But it's Nash Brambilla, Joe Huerta that lead the bottom and try to rally that line back up to speed on the inside of the racetrack. They'll get to the inside of Kenny Reel. And now to the corner, that line starts to roll there to Osbornoth. They're now to Malik Ray. Down comes Osbornoth to sidetrack. Can't get split if you're Trevor, though, but he will. Osbornoth will get split. He'll go down to the middle of the side draft. Malik Ray's going to get back up. Osborne will wait on Andre Chickham to push him. Gray to the inside now, the push of Brambilla as that line got a big run. Here comes the 18, the Interstate Batteries Camry to the middle. Oh man, scrambling out back around Real and Davenport. Cars looking 4 wide. Osborne got stuck in the middle again. And now to the outside, it's McClenny with Ward 10 rows back as Gray battles Falkingham for the lead up front. It'll be Falkingham on the winning end of that battle with Kyler Wynn as his help. Miles, Ray, and Real in line on the inside. Gray, Brambilla, Huerta, Seipel, Josh McCullough. Further back, car got split. It was Davenport. Another one getting split. That's Asher Little as McClenny's making all kinds of moves right now in that 4 machine. He'll pick up Nick Seipel in the middle as Ray looks to the middle on Stephen Miles. Falkingham a half a lane down. Thought about side drafting, then thought about taking it perhaps. Seipel puts the 32 of Little in the outside wall. Contact between Little and John Ward. Almost some more contact as John Ward tries to recenter. Halfway back in the field, Seipel got into the 32, and he's going backwards in a hurry. He's going to go all the way to the back end of this field. Wyatt Gray, Nash Brambilla, a moment of peace. Brambilla to the outside. Falkingham's going to have a monster run. I would not be surprised if he goes all the way to the right rear. He will. Falkingham goes 3 wide for the race lead. He's got Wynn and Miles with him. Brambilla stuck in the middle. Tries to get back down on Wyatt Gray. He will. The bottom line will reset. Try to re-rally and come back to the front once again. Another successful defense for Daniel Falkingham in the 39 and Kyler Wynn in the 84. You'll see Falkingham drop 2 lanes down. He's giving Kyler Wynn some air, trying to get some temps under that 84 Toyota Camry. And now all of a sudden the top lane switches lines to the bottom, and now Seipel's going to take advantage. Brambilla jumps out around Kenny Real to the push of Seipel, and all of a sudden a shuffle up front as the leaders all move to the double yellow line. Brambilla in the middle. Further back, David Flanagan trying to start a third line with Trevor Osborne on. But that's about 10 rows deep in the field. It's Brambilla that leads this second one with Seipel, McClenny, John Ward, and Axel Smith, who reemerges to the front. Asher Little does as well. Out back, Svet getting split there by Ron Morris. Brett Malone coming to his aid as I think that might be Michael Wingo back there making some moves. That's in 16th. Right around David Flanagan and Mike Davenport. 21 to go in the feature. Brambilla is up to the 4th position, looking for 3rd on Stephen Miles as Seipel continues to be his biggest help. Ooh, Brambilla, I don't know if he wanted to push Kyler Wynn there. Kyler gave him no choice. He jumps to the outside. Outside will go to the lead now as Kyler abandons Daniel Falkingham. Seipel looking a half a lane higher. He wants to go 3 wide. Brambilla says, I got you. Jumps to the outside with a push from Seipel. Kyler Wynn gets split in the middle now. Wyatt Gray to his help, and Falkingham says, thank you very much. He gets back to the lead. Out back of them, John Ward splits in the middle with Kyler. Another car down to the middle is Brambilla. Seipel will take all advantage of that as the 4 of McClenny now pushes Seipel, but it's the top 5, top 6, almost top 7 clear on the inside line. Wingo to the middle now. He'll go to the push of Nash Brambilla in that middle lane as they'll try to get something going. Kyler Wynn now drops all the way to the bottom. He's in 8th position on the racetrack, goes right back to the middle again around Josh McCullough. Will try to get up on the bumper of Seipel and come back to the front. 20 laps to go. It feels like we've run 40. We've only run 10 in this feature. Wynn gets split again. Nick Seipel splits to his right rear again, and no dice for the 84. Incredible stuff from about 10th on back up front. Oh, Seipel tried to throw a block on Nash Brambilla. Nash said no, sir. Stayed in the gas. Knocked Seipel back up to where he came from. Return to sender from 23 to 75. Wynn out again. He'll have Wingo that goes with him. John Ward's in the middle with Wyatt Gray, David Flanagan, Dustin Sveck, and others. Outside, Seipel, McClenny, Axel Smith, and Mike Davenport up front. Not much headway beyond the top 5. Top 5 still clear back to Joe Huerta. Kyler Wynn leads that second line with Michael Wingo. Man, Wingo's pushing him hard in turn 1. Trying everything he can to get Wynn to the front. Here they come. They're up to 5th. They're going to look for 4th on Kenny Real. They'll get all the way to the side door. Malik Ray for 3rd down the Alabama gang super stretch. And all of a sudden, how about the Herculean push from Michael Wingo to the back of Kyler Wynn? It's going to send him all the way back towards the point. He's door-to-door now with Malik Ray. That's for 3rd. Best battle on the racetrack right now as they run. Top 2 get separated, though, and if that top 2 on the outside can stay hooked up, they're going to have a run with how they're side drafting right now, and they're going to do just that. To the door number of Stephen Miles. Falkingham sees it coming and goes high. Does Wynn go to split? No, he will push Daniel Falkingham. How about John Ward out back of them? Nope, they will drift up to the wall, slowly but surely. Now they'll come back down, and here they come to side draft again. This is expert-level defense from Daniel Falkingham. He is doing everything right now. Out back, couple cars looking to split. Trevor Osborne was one of them. And all of a sudden, the top two of tandem 5, 6, 7 car lengths away. Split to the outside. There goes Wyatt Gray with David Flanagan. Nick Seipel, another Seipel back to the middle with McClenny as they look for track position back there around the 10th spot. Flanagan going backwards. He's now going to fall outside the top 10, outside the top 15, and maybe outside the top 20. He will be picked up by his teammate Trevor Osmanoff. Wyatt Gray gets the same treatment. He gets hung out to dry, but not for long. Now it's John Ward that's the loneliest man in the field as he goes backwards through the middle. It's Wyatt Gray picking up Seipel. Michael Wingo going to get split, and they're going to have a monster run when they get there. Wyatt Gray, big push from Seipel and McClenny. Svek and Flanagan come along for the ride. Trouble! Around goes Michael Wingo in the 56. He'll spin. He'll come back up, and this may draw the caution as he comes back up. It may not. Tucker McClendon, now it will. It just drew the caution as McClendon and McCullough arrived on the scene. I think if Wingo had kept it down on the apron, we probably would have stayed green. He was not able to keep it on the apron, and as such, we're going to go under the caution flag for the second time. It started back around Michael Wingo. He had just gotten split, and I think he's going to try to take a gap that perhaps is not there by the time that he comes back down. See if we get a little better angle of this. Oh, does he just react maybe? No. There's still a hole there, and I think he made at the last second try to take it. And right there, just goes to turn down the racetrack, and Brett Malone's there and does not lift out of the throttle, and Wingo gets sideways. Now he's initially going to kind of get this thing straight, kind of cocks it back to the left, then he's going to spin again, but really I think he and Malone are the only two cars involved. See, again, right here, I thought we were maybe going to get away without a caution. Even as he comes back up, the race was still green. But as McClendon arrives on the scene, the caution's going to get thrown right there. McClendon and McCullough both miss it. So only two cars involved. Wingo and Brett Malone are the only ones involved in this incident down here in turn one. Again, if he had kept it down off the racetrack, again, I don't think this is a caution. But it's right here when he jackknifes back up the track, right there. As cars are coming on, I imagine that race control thought, okay, those two cars are going to get involved. This is going to be a three-car incident and a caution, but good instincts from McClendon and McCullough, veteran money racers, to jump on the brakes and keep themselves out of that one. Let's go on board really quickly with Tucker McClendon. Before we go back live, tell you a little bit more about the SummerSlam 499. You're going to see it start in front of him here in turn one. You're on board with Tucker McClendon in the 00. So good avoidance there from McClendon as he's able to skate past and avoid that wreck. Same with Kenny McCullough. Good avoidances by both of them. Back live, race off pit road. Daniel Falkingham off first. And it's Miles, Real, Gray, and Huerta. Round out your top five. If you were not with us earlier in the night, you still have 7 days to get involved in the racing that you see on your screen. This is a recruitment race for the PGR eSports SummerSlam 499 coming up next week. It is a crown jewel event, the second biggest event of the year for PGR, and the biggest sim racing event of the summer. You have 7 days left to sign up. Head to PGResports.com. I believe the link is in the description as well. A whole tab. The sign-up page, I believe, is on the landing page when you get to that site. You can put in the information that it asks for and get the payment sent in, and you can race with all the guys you see on your screen right now. Starting next Thursday, you can have a chance at $1,750 over the course of next weekend. Run you through the schedule again for those that were not with us. The PGR SummerSlam 499 starts next Thursday night, August 31st, and runs through, July 31st. I think I said August 31st earlier. It starts next Thursday, July 31st, and runs through Sunday, August 3rd. Again, that is a week from Thursday through a week from Sunday is when that event will run next weekend. Thursday night, there will be 3 heat races out of the 8 total. So 8 total heat races, 25 cars in each one for a max entry list of 200. Cars will be split and snaked via iRating to make up 8 heats of 25. From those 8 heats, 10 in each one will advance to 2 dual races on Saturday evening. From the duels, we'll cut the field from 80 total drivers, 10 from 8 heats, down to around 40. It may be a little bit more than 40. It may be up near 42. But regardless, 40 will get in on pure advancement through the heat and dual race process. So again, 25 in each heat, 8 heats, 10 from each heat. The top 10 go to each of the dual races. The top 20 from each duel will race on Sunday afternoon in the SummerSlam 499. The first 3 heat races are on Thursday night next week, July 31st. Again, Thursday night. The first one will kick off at 8 p.m. Eastern. That will be green flag time of 8 p.m. Eastern. So the session will open about an hour before at 7. The qualifying will be about 10 minutes before that. And then we'll go racing right around 8 o'clock on the East Coast. The second heat will be the same general formula, but it will be opening as Heat 1 goes green. With that race to take place, the green flag will drop at 9 p.m. And then for the third heat race, it'll be 10 p.m. So again, 8, 9, and 10, the first 3 heats. Then on Friday night, heats 4, 5, and 6, same formula. 8 o'clock p.m. Eastern, 9 o'clock p.m. Eastern, and 10 o'clock p.m. Eastern, the green flag times. Saturday, you're at a bit of a disadvantage if you're in heats 7 or 8. Those will take place at 1 p.m. and 2 p.m. Eastern time on Saturday afternoon. Then the 2 dual races will be at 4 o'clock p.m. Eastern on Saturday and 5:30 p.m. Eastern on Saturday. Then the second annual PGR SummerSlam 499 will go green at 1 p.m. on Sunday afternoon. You'll see a rotating cast of broadcasters probably throughout the weekend. I will be on most of the calls. You'll hear my voice most of, if not the whole weekend, including the feature on Sunday afternoon. You might hear from my fellow broadcasters as well, including Michael Triscaro and Landon Veleke, potentially Austin Green. Maybe some other special guests along the way. We'll tell you more about the broadcast team if we get another caution as well. Green flag back in the air. Daniel Falkingham brings them back to the green flag. He'll have good help on the inside here from Kenny Reel, who got a good start. Wyatt Gray, not so much for Stephen Miles on the outside, but they've got help behind him. Outside will be more connected, but the inside, it may not matter. They may both be clear already. Now, do you jump up if you're those cars? Nope, Kenny Reel not going to. Falkingham, though, he's been an expert on defense all night. He'll do it again right here. Ooh, but Miles thought about splitting. Gray got in the back of him. Little gets into the side of McCullough, and they're scrambling everywhere on the back straightaway. 4 wide, 5 wide for a moment, but everybody gets it settled out. Miles goes to the lead in that. I think he wanted to split, but hesitated for a moment, and all of a sudden now we race into turn 3 with a big shuffle up front. Miles to the lead, Seipel to second, Falkingham dropping off a cliff. He's all the way back to 4th. And the first car on that outside lane, Trevor Osmond gets split. Going to have a teammate coming to him here in David Flanagan, though, on that outside lane. As Miles and Seipel tandem away from the field in the tri-oval. 12 laps to go at the line. Not a lot of time to go in this one. And they are 2 wide behind the 2 leaders. Osmond going to get help from Kyler Wynn now. All of a sudden, Kyler jumps to the outside, and they've got a bit of a run trouble. Out back, it was Mike Davenport, the first car that I saw get around, and the caution flag might come out, it might not. As Mike Davenport comes to a stop, it's a 1-car incident. We're going to stay green. Back up front, still 12 laps to go. Here comes Falkingham. Seipel looking up, makes contact with Falkingham. Still blocks to the middle and hangs Falkingham out. But Wyatt Gray goes with Dan Falkingham on the outside. Here comes McClenny with a big head of steam on Osmond's push on the outside. 3 by 3 by 3, 4 rows deep. Back behind the leaders. Miles still up front. Falkingham not going to give Seipel a lot of room now, certainly. Osmond looks 4 wide around McClenny. He's not going to let that happen. Flanagan backs off his teammate just a little bit. 5 cars on the outside, and they're all coming quick. Here comes Daniel Falkingham on the outside of the racetrack. Miles goes to the block of him, stops that middle line in its tracks. Malik Ray went to the inside. Seipel goes to the middle. Seipel, what in the world? He almost got in the side of Kenny Reel, but gets it back together on the bumper of Kyler Wynn. Car on the wall was Flanagan. So was Axel Smith. So was Kenny McCullough. We still stay straight. Take a quick breath into turn 3. Miles, Falkingham, your top 2. Into the inside come Malik Ray and Asher Little on the bottom of the racetrack. We saw this tandem work a couple weeks ago in PGR. They almost both got podium finishes because they just stuck together on the last restart. And here they come to the inside. Malik Ray leads the charge with Asher Little, Kenny Reel, Joe Huerta, Josh McCullough. John Ward, and it was Nash Brambilla. In the middle, it's Cade McClenny that all of a sudden has a run. Wyatt Gray blocks that. They've got Seipel, Wynn, and Ron Morris. Falkingham blocks to the middle around Stephen Miles. What a move by Falkingham in the 39. Now Miles going to have to go to the push of Trevor Osbornoff up on the outside. They get it back going, though. Gray looks around Falkingham. Nobody working there. McClenny to the inside of Gray. Now that's for second. None of these guys have any help. Big push coming to Gray from Stephen Miles. Then they'll give a push to Falkingham on the outside. Middle, it's Seipel and Wynn. They'll go all the way to the bottom. McClenny off the bumper of Ray. Almost got around. They're really tight quarters. Seipel on the nose of Gray, trying to get to the outside of Falkingham. They continue to race each other hard off turn number 4. Seipel and Falkingham, no love lost a few laps ago. Certainly none lost right there. Gray almost hooked on the bumper of what looked to be Ron Morris Jr., in the middle lane now as they go backwards. On the inside, it's Wynn, McClenny, and Malik Ray as Cade McClenny's knocked his way back to the front of the field. Falkingham and Seipel lead. Osbornoff cuts to the middle underneath Stephen Miles. Thought about splitting, may just be side drafting. Seipel turns left. He gets underneath Falkingham now on the push from Wynn. It's Nick Seipel in the Miami Dolphins Mustang that goes to the lead. Miles to the outside of Falkingham. All of a sudden, Daniel Falkingham has no help. Gray will push him in the middle. Miles on the outside with Osbornoff. This Seipel goes to the lead on the push from Kyler Wynn. Crazy, ridiculous racing here at Talladega. 9 laps to go, naked 8 when we come back. Flanagan gets around Falkingham. Brambilla gets around Falkingham. Malik Ray, Ron Morris, they are cycling around the 39 as Daniel Falkingham is reeling. He's on defense back there now. Challenge to the outside of the leader, Nick Seipel. Here comes Stephen Miles. Osbornoff a lane higher. How about Trevor Osbornoff for the Jack Shack in the 89 with his teammate David Flanagan in tow. Now, unfortunately, they had to kill some momentum to get to the outside of Stephen Miles. Kyler Wynn used that opportunity to get to the middle. Wynn's all over the place. Osbornoff's all over the place. Everybody's all over the place. Malik Ray to the middle now as the front 2 tandem away. Seipel and McClenny. Ray on the nose of Osbornoff. That was a big block. Osbornoff's in the wall. Outside line checks up just a little bit all the way back to Josh McCullough. Middle line going to have the run. So is the bottom. These two up front are sitting ducks. They are separated now. And all of a sudden, they are going to be caught and caught quickly. Here comes Kyler Wynn. They're going to go all the way to the wall. Falkingham's in the middle with Gray and Kenny McCullough. And on the inside now, Morris and Little and Axel Smith have caught the 2 leaders as Kyler Wynn rockets by for the lead. 7 laps to go. Kyler Wynn continuing to lead. Stephen Miles, then Malik Ray, then Trevor Osbornoff, then David Flanagan as Falkingham's made his way back clear of the pack and now gets on the bumper of, guess who? Nick Seipel. They've not certainly liked each other very much. In the middle, though, here comes the run from Wyatt Gray, Kenny McCullough, and Asher Little. They've got Joe Huerta in tow in that middle lane, along with Josh McCullough, and Kenny Reel may go there as well. 3 wide from 4th on back in the field. Top 3 are clear back to Malik Ray. Kyler Wynn, Stephen Miles continue to control. Here comes the middle once again, Wyatt Gray. They're going to get to the door of Malik Ray, but not before Daniel Falkingham gets to the door of the race leader. Here comes the 39 on the bottom side of the racetrack. With that middle there, they couldn't side draft. Falkingham will drag race win. 6 laps to go at the line. Miles took a look to the middle. May have been getting a push from Malik Ray. Inside 2 cars, outside much more organized. As Falkingham, though, is going to get a huge push from Nick Seipel that gets him all the way to the lead. He may block Kyler Wynn here on exit of 2. He will. What a block by Daniel Falkingham. Are you kidding me? Falkingham plays expert defense once again and gets back to the race lead. Now he'll have to fend off Wynn. He'll have to fend off Seipel and Gray on the inside of the racetrack. 2 by 2 most of the way back. 3 wide for 2 rows at the tail end of this field. Of this lead pack anyway. Top 2 clear on the outside. Make it 3 back to Stephen Miles. Into the middle goes Nash Brambilla, but nobody really going with him now. Ward, nope, ducks back out of line. Brambilla going backwards. They'll get the 5 out the flag stand this time by 5 laps to go. Move to the inside. Here comes Kyler Wynn with Stephen Miles and Malik Ray. They all 3 triple tandem to the inside of Falkingham. Osbornoff goes outside of Falkingham with Flanagan. Here comes the Jack Shack Brigade on the outside of the racetrack. Their other teammate, Joe Huerta, not really close enough to give them a lot of help here. Kenny Reel is not either, but they're trying to work back into good positions. Ray to the outside. Osbornoff look to the walls, going to fence himself, run out of room. On the back of Malik Ray, he'll have to reset. Big push to the back of Miles as Osbornoff not too happy with Ray. Going to shove right through his back bumper. They all accordion up to Kyler Wynn, and that outside big time rolling now into 3. To the middle, here comes the Jack Shack. Osbornoff and Flanagan. They'll go to the push of Kenny McCullough. They'll quickly jump back in line in front of John Ward. Ward cuts him a break. Ooh, Kenny McCullough drifts up just a little bit on the push from his son Josh. In that middle lane, he gets back into it, though, and keeps it going. On the inside, that magic tandem, it's Falkingham and Seipel again once together. Asher Little looks 4 wide, 10 rows deep in the field, but has no help doing it. Inside coming to help. Falkingham and Seipel. It's led by Kenny McCullough. They'll get all the way to the lead, though. Seipel, oh, they got offset, and Seipel goes for the lead instead. Falkingham will be left to block Kyler Wynn. He'll get the better push, though, and Seipel's in no man's land as he gets into McCullough big time. Kenny off the racetrack. Seipel able to stay in front of Cade McClenny. McCullough will rejoin the back end of the field. He'll lose the draft and likely the race. On the inside, here comes Kyler Wynn. Again, a triple tandem move. It's Wynn, Miles, and Ray once again. They'll come back and get 3 laps to go. Ray to the outside of the block of Falkingham. Wynn and Miles go up there as well. The Jack Shack cars are back in this one. Look out back. Huerta and Real trying to get up here as well. Inside again now is Nick Seipel as he has a push from Cade McClenny. 3 more circuits around Talladega. To the middle go John Ward and Joey Masowicz. They're going to look to the middle of 3 wide and try to get something going, but not a lot of help. They'll try to tandem up. On the inside still Seipel and McClenny. They're going to go all the way to the door of the leaders here. Here comes Nick Seipel. This race is not over. Cade McClenny, big push on the inside of the racetrack. Falkingham's the car I'm watching here. Look at this tandem from McClenny and Seipel on the inside. Seipel trying to get to the lead, but Miles gave him a good push. They're going to roll down here in turn number 3. Are Seipel and McClenny. Seipel will probably get it. Will he try to throw it on the nose of Wynn? He will. Big time move from Seipel right on the nose of the 84 Kyler Wynn. McClenny now on the inside of the push from Josh McCullough. He wants the lead. So too does Nick Seipel on the outside. He'll get it. But Seipel's got those 3 teammates behind him that are not going to be willing to push him for very long. 2 laps to go. Popsicle sticks. 2 more times around. If we make it around 1 more time, the race is official. On the inside, here comes Cade McClenny with a big push from Josh McCullough. McClenny challenging Seipel, but Kyler Wynn's got fresher temps. Lap car on the inside's Brett Malone, and boy, there's a train coming. I would almost get off the tracks if I was the 98 up ahead of this pack, but he's right in the inside right now. He's going to actually tow along that inside line. That's going to help them here into 3. Gain a little bit of momentum. He'll stay on the bottom. They'll have to move middle. Will McClenny, McCullough, and company, but they got a nice tow, and they'll get up alongside the leaders once again as Wynn separates. Seipel blocks to the bottom. It gives Kyler Wynn the outside. I'm not sure I would have done that. It's Kyler Wynn looking back for the lead as the field works into the trial. We're coming for the white flag. Past the start-finish line, white flag is up. 1 lap to go at Talladega in this recruitment race. Kyler Wynn on the outside, Nick Seipel on the inside. Look at the push from McClenny. They may both get clear. Malik Ray splitting the outside. So too is Falkingham, but they don't get anywhere. Trevor Osborne almost gets turned. Falkingham's in the outside wall to 39. Oh, he's going backwards. What a tough ending if that is it for Daniel Falkingham. Osborne to the outside. Here comes the Jack Shack. Could they have enough time to get back up there? Seipel first, McClenny second. When do you go? If you're Cade McClenny, you're going to have to go for it here sooner than later. Jack Shack cars on the outside have a run. Does Kyler Wynn block on their nose? No. Wynn stays middle. They double to the middle. McClenny turns left, goes back to the bottom. Seipel and McClenny will drag race. Who's got the better push? Right now it's Nick Seipel. No challenge from out back. Through the trial for the final time, Nick Seipel wins a classic at Talladega. Now that was fun. Nick Seipel wins what is one of the best Gen 6 performances we have seen here in PGR. We had a good one a couple weeks ago. This one certainly up there as well. That was awesome. Whew, man, I got to take a breath and a drink of water perhaps here. Seipel will come around to do his burnout. If you liked what you saw tonight, this is the car track combination for the SummerSlam 499. If you want to see more of it over the course of 8 heat races, 2 duels, and almost 500 miles of racing, come back next weekend because we'll have plenty of this kind of racing for you with some of iRacing's best, and it is going to be a lot of fun. If you liked what you saw, you're going to love the SummerSlam next week. Tonight, though, in this recruitment race, it's Nick Seipel that gets the job done in the 75, and he will burn it down on the front straightaway, the winner of this one from Talladega. Fitting way to end it, I would think, for Nick Seipel as he blows that car up on the front straightaway here after going to victory lane. It's Nick Seipel that wins the feature. We'll go through your finishing results and try to talk to your top three, hopefully, if we can get them all in the waiting room. We'll facilitate that in just a moment. Nick Seipel wins. Kyler Wynn goes second, and Stephen Miles goes third. What a run the last couple weeks for Stephen Miles. First career win in Intimidator Super Speedway Series competition back on Thursday. A third-place run tonight in this one. Also on the podium last night in McCullough Motorsports. So a really good run for Miles tonight. How about Cade McClenny? Can't say enough about him. His first action since that PGR 500 weekend. He'll go fourth tonight. Josh McCullough in fifth. Asher Little in sixth. Trevor Osmond seventh. Wyatt Gray eighth. Malik Ray ninth. And David Flanagan goes 10th. John Warden 11th. Joe Huerta 12th. Joey Masowicz 13th. Nash Brambilla 14th. And Axel Smith in 15th. Kenny Reel 16th. Ron Moore 17th. Kenny McCullough back in the 18th position. Michael Wingo 19th, Quentin Steinbach 20th, Rusty Plant 21st, Mark Mondell 22nd, Dustin Sveck 23rd, Andre Chickham in 24th, and Chris Summers in 25th. Daniel Falkingham 26th, Brett Malone 27th, Tucker McClendon 28th, Mike Davenport 29th, and Nick Loden finishes tonight in 30th. We're going to go grab your top three for some interviews, also get you the three drivers who won a free entry into the PGR SummerSlam 499. We'll get all that information for you and be right back to wrap up coverage from Talladega. Stay with us. It's PGR eSports coverage of the recruitment race for the SummerSlam 499. Welcome back to Talladega Super Speedway. These guys were quicker on the punch than me tonight, of course, as usual. So we'll go to the top three in tonight's race. We'll start with a man who finished in the third position, the most recent winner in Thursday night competition, and certainly now has formed himself into one of the favorites for the PGR SummerSlam 499. It's Stephen Miles in the 42 machine. We'll get what he's got to say about his effort tonight from Talladega. Stephen, it's Dawson in the broadcast booth. You get a copy?
Yeah, I got a copy. How you doing, man?
Well, not too bad. A fun, chaotic, wild race tonight that kind of saw a little bit of everything. I mean, even just, talking about your race, we saw you get involved in an incident in your heat race and then kind of get shuffled a few times in this race tonight, getting, split out three wide or put in the middle or trying to make moves. At the end of the day, though, you managed to work well together there at the end with a couple of other cars and come home with a third-place finish. Take me through a wild night for you tonight at Talladega.
Yeah, it was wild, man. This car is gonna have a lot of good battles within the battles. The heat race, I was just trying to get through the field, man. Gave somebody a bump and he couldn't handle it, I guess, or whatever. I knew I was square on him and went around, did 360, didn't get no damage, and right there at the end, I was looking forward to pushing my teammate Kyler, and he just, we just swapped and he pushed me to that heat win. So I appreciate that. And right there in the feature, man, it was gloves off, man. I don't know if you seen it. Well, I know you seen it, but it was real tense in the chat with us, man, because we was all up there trying to manage things. You got Dan up there throwing blocks, Trev up there making his way through, and we're trying to keep watch on the guys we got to watch and same time not hurt ourselves. And just, the time the runs and block and try to stay cool. I know I'm probably like 300 degrees coming to the line, but right there at the end, teammates Nick Sipple and Malik and Kyler, um, Kyler made the play of pushing Nick to the win, man. We could have took him three or whatever, and it just showed how much of a team player Kyler is, man. He wanted to get Nick a win, and luckily was able to bring the team in 1, 2, 3.
Well, really impressive run for all of you guys. We'll, kind of focus on that, but we'll focus on you as well. Obviously, the most recent Thursday winner, your first career win back on Thursday in a similar car, and now a few good runs strung together in this one, 10 days out from the SummerSlam 499. This recent run you've been on, does it affect the confidence level for that race? Kind of, take me through your mindset. How are you feeling about your chances to bring home $1,700 and a championship belt when we get to that event next weekend?
Yeah, I've been on a hot streak for the past week. So So yeah, the confidence high, but the confidence always gonna be high when you're in a chat with Malik, Kyler, Nick Zipper, and Freddie. Man, those guys right there, we all kind of boost each other up. And I know for the SummerSlam, it's about luck and just being in the right place at the right time. So I don't think momentum or nothing's gonna affect that. It's just gonna just be a wild heat race, a wild race, and hopefully we all could make it into the show. And after that, just take the gloves off and get to racing.
Well, definitely looking forward to it as we're just 10 days away from that event getting started tonight, though. You talked about that run you're on. It continues. Another podium for you. Third place tonight, going home with a payday. And obviously some well-needed experience headed into the SummerSlam 499. Before we let you go, anybody you'd like to thank or shout out?
Man, appreciate you, man. You know, you're one of the best broadcasters out there. Anytime you hop in the booth, man, it's entertaining. Can't wait to watch this back. Shout out my teammates, Malik, Kyler, Freddie, Nick. Um, Shout out my mom, my dad, my girlfriend, everybody that support me, all the people that's tuned in. Y'all go register for SummerSlam. It's gonna be a good show, man. I highly want people to get in this, man, because more people, the more money. So shout out Triscaro too for putting on this league, man, and that'll be it.
I appreciate you talking to me for a second. Congrats on that third place finish. Go enjoy it. Go celebrate. We will talk to you soon.
Thank you.
Stephen Miles in the 42 machine. You heard the man. Go register for the SummerSlam 499. It's going to be a heck of an event, and you better pep talk than I could have given you to go and sign up for that one. Let's move now to one of his teammates in the second position. I thought for a second he was going to try for the win, perhaps learned from the teammates last week on Thursday that decided to race each other for the win, and neither of them got to victory lane tonight. Kyler Wynn sufficient to push Nick Seipel to the victory. It's the 84 Kyler Wynn coming home second in the recruitment race from Talladega. Kyler, it's Dawson, the broadcast booth. You got a copy?
Yeah, how's it going, brother?
Well, not too bad. Look, I was talking to Steven a moment ago. This one was more chaotic than we're potentially used to in this car. It looks like guys are really figuring it out and dialing in before next weekend. And tonight's race, a prime example of that. Big moves, big blocks, big runs. It was chaotic from start to finish. You guys come home with a really nice team effort, but specifically for you, a second-place effort. Take me through your night tonight at Talladega.
Yeah, I'll take that. 3 teammates in the top 3. You'll always take those. Really good teamwork between all 4 of us, Malik, Nick, me, and Steven. Unfortunately, we couldn't get Malik in the cashier at the end, but it's really hard when you have this many people and limited cash spots to cash all of us. You know, in a perfect world, we would have got top 4 there, but Malik got side dressed to the back there. He actually made the call there entering 3 to stay middle, which was a really good call because we were able to side draft the bottom and not let them all get clear, and kind of sacrifice himself. So I respect Malik for that. We could have easily moved up, but us moving up wouldn't have benefited us there. I don't think we would have lost a lot of time, and the bottom would have all cleared. But great team effort. I mean, that's what we're hoping for next week or in the next coming weeks here in the SummerSlam. Teamwork. At the end of these, make sure it's one of us and not anybody else. Ideally, obviously, we still want to race for it, but first goal is making sure it's one of us that wins it.
Well, yeah, kind of getting into the SummerSlam now. Again, just 10 days away from the event getting started. Certainly, you're going to be high on the list of a lot of people in terms of favorites to win that event. You talked about the team. Obviously, it's team first, but I do want to mention it to you. It seems like the crown jewel is really all that's missing from a decorated PGR resume and really a decorated super speedway resume, even beyond what we do over here at PGR. What is the game plan for you? Kind of what's the mindset for you headed into the SummerSlam 499 as you look for, obviously, the championship belt again to kind of round out what's been a really impressive run for you over here in PGR?
Honestly, just survival. Like, if I can survive and make it to the end, I have a pretty good shot, as indicated by my past special events and other like podium and other events, such as, to this extent. If I can make it to the end, I think I have a pretty good shot at winning it. So just surviving till the end. It's going to be a long race, 180 laps, I believe. So just making sure I get there. Probably just chill for the first 100 laps. I don't need to lead every lap.
Well, certainly going to be interesting to see the strategies guys have once we get to that 188-lap feature event next week. Tonight for you, though, second place for you, top 3 for the team. Really impressive night for you guys and a big payday. Before we let you go, is there anybody you'd like to thank or shout out?
Yeah, factory steps from the car. All the teammates, again, great teammates. Blessed to have them. And you for broadcasting. You do a great job with these, so I appreciate you broadcasting this. Oh, and Mike Triscaro. He's put a ton of effort and sunk a lot of time into this event. And it's great. Without him, this wouldn't be possible. So thanks, Mike.
Well, appreciate you talking to me for a second. Congratulations on the second place effort. Go enjoy it. Go celebrate. We will talk to you soon.
Yep. See you.
Kyler Wynn, the 84 tonight's second place finisher. Now to the man in PGR victory lane in this recruitment race, completing a 1-2-3 finish for that stable. It's Nick Seipel in the 75. We'll see what he's got to say about this race. We'll also look forward to the SummerSlam 499, see how he's feeling about that after a win for him in the recruitment race tonight. Nick, it's Dawson in the broadcast booth. You got a copy?
Yes, sir, I do.
Well, one of the craziest Gen-6 races we've probably had to this point. You know, I just mentioned to Kyler, it feels like guys are really dialing in, really rounding out how they drive this car, preparing for next weekend. An impressive effort, not only for you, but for the stable of cars tonight. 1-2-3 for you guys. Take me through how you guys pulled off a win for you and a 1-2-3 for the team tonight at Talladega.
I mean, it was an absolute brawl. I think that kind of shows what the Gen 6 can do. Give you that kind of crazy race as long as everyone up there can hold it and not wreck. So I'm really excited for that going into SummerSlam. I'm really excited for that whole event with this car. But the race went pretty well. I got up to the front. It seemed like I was having a pretty easy time getting forward in the field, and I was able to get up there and work my teammates, of course. And that obviously is one of the reasons I won the race. So can't thank them enough.
Well, yeah, you mentioned the brawl up front. It certainly seemed that way. Elbows were out. It felt like for really the second 2/3 of that race there. And kind of looking forward to next weekend, you know, from your perspective, do you think we expect to see that kind of racing again? Do guys calm it down? Kind of, you know, what are you guys expecting in terms of the racing, the aggression level? Obviously, the heat races will be one thing, but in the feature as well, kind of, you know, do you guys expect that elbows out brawl, big moves, big blocks? Are guys comfortable enough in this car now to do that for 188 laps? Or, you know, do you think the racing will change a little bit next weekend?
I think it might calm down a little bit, but then again, you're gonna have a bunch of coke guys in there, a bunch of guys with, let's be honest, big heads that can drive very well. So I think they're gonna be making a lot of moves that will look very good on the broadcast, hopefully.
Well, definitely hoping for that for my sake as well. But going back to your guys' team, obviously we've talked to all three of you guys tonight. I do want to get your perspective on this, though. Obviously the heats are going to be a little bit unpredictable in terms of who you're with. You're not guaranteed your teammates. You know, for the viewers who are maybe a little bit new to this kind of event, obviously you've been a part of a couple of these now. Kind of take them through the process of that. If you go into a heat and you don't have your teammates, what's the mindset for you to advance out of the duel and out of a heat race and into a duel, and then from there, potentially from a dual race into a feature, perhaps with no teammates around you on the racetrack?
Yeah, it's definitely, I mean, kind of a scary thought that you could have nobody in there that you're very comfortable with or that you know will work with you. But, I mean, you just got to go in there and do what you can. I'm sure at the very least you'll be able to find some people that you're like, all right, throughout the race, I think I can work with this guy. I feel comfortable with this guy. So it'll be very interesting. And obviously hope I get a heat with some guys that I'm able to work with.
We're definitely looking forward to it next weekend as we await the start of the SummerSlam 499. Tonight, though, it's victory lane for you here in this recruitment race. A nice payday for the team, nice payday for you in the winner's circle tonight. So before we let you go, is there anybody you'd like to thank or shout out?
Of course, PGR for putting it on, you Dawson for broadcast, and all my teammates that were in the race. That was Kyler, that was Miles, that was Malik, that was actually Cabe who got fourth, but didn't cash because he was racing for the entry, whatever. But yeah, thank those guys. Thank you.
Well, thank you for talking to me for a second. Congratulations on the win tonight in the recruitment race. Go enjoy it. Go celebrate. Maybe we'll talk to you soon.
Yep. Thank you, Dawson.
Next cycle, the winner tonight at Talladega Superspeedway in the recruitment race. And what a race that it was. Obviously, I'm sitting here, you know, I had to take a breath after the race. Just that's how crazy it was. You heard, you know, Nick Seipel described it as a brawl. You heard Stephen Miles kind of talking about the aggression level up front and what this racing was like. And look, it's a preview, if anything, looking forward to next weekend into what could be an all-time weekend of racing in PGR's history. Cannot wait. I'm so stoked to be back for that race, for that racing next weekend. Again, the SummerSlam 499 is what we're talking about. We'll talk about this next week first, and then I'll tell you the schedule for the SummerSlam 499. First, though, do want to thank everybody that was in the chat. That last 10 laps or so, couldn't really check it. Troy Elliott was in the chat. A couple others, Ashley S. as well. And then some others. JBL Challenger Cup Series as well. Appreciate all the kind words tonight from the few people that gave them. I love doing this. I have a passion for it. I hope that is very obvious. I've been told it is. So I have a passion for it, and I like doing it, and I've had a lot of fun doing it for PGR, and can't wait to do it next weekend for the SummerSlam 499. So I wanted to thank everybody for that first. I do see that. It does not go unnoticed. I do see the kind words and support, and I do really appreciate it. So continue coming back. I'll be on the call for several races coming up the next week, so keep on coming back. Keep on giving our product a chance. Hit the like, subscribe, hit the share, and keep hit the notification bell. Keep updated on our streams. Let's go through the next week and a half of scheduling. Tomorrow night, we have multiple series that are going at the same time. It'll be the Grindstone Development Truck Series. We'll see if Austin's on the call. It might be Mike Triscaro on the call for that one for PGR eSports. It'll be Ron Morris Racing's Tuesday Night Thunder that goes off at 10:15 p.m. And then my broadcast tomorrow night, the Challenger Cup Series. Come check us out as we head down to Dover tomorrow night, continuing on with the NASCAR schedule. A couple road courses out of the way. Now we're back on to ovals. We'll start with Dover tomorrow night. That race at 8:35 p.m. Eastern Time. Wednesday might be some racing here on PGR eSports. We'll have to wait and see. There may not be. Thursday night is a normal PGR eSports Intimidator Super Speedway Series race as scheduled at around 10:20 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'll be on the call for that one as well. And then a couple more races coming up this weekend. I don't know if anything major is coming up for PGR eSports per se until next Monday. The final recruitment race for the SummerSlam 499 will go off next Monday night at 10:15 p.m. Eastern here on PGR eSports. I should be back for that one as well, as that by that time it will be race week for the SummerSlam 499. A lot of fun coming up. Let's get into it. The SummerSlam 499, the second annual running of the crown jewel of the summer for PGR eSports, will go off starting next Thursday night, July 31st, with the first 3 heat races. Thursday night, July 31st will go as follows. Heat 1 goes green at 8 p.m. Eastern. The broadcast will start not long before that. Heat 2 will go off at 9 p.m. Eastern, and Heat 3 at 10 p.m. Eastern, give or take a few minutes, depending on how long the heat races go. That will be one continuous broadcast link for all 3 heat races, so once the link comes out, and once it starts to get shared, that will be the link for all 3 of those heat races. Friday night, it'll be a new link and 3 new heat races, Heats 4, 5, and 6, also at 8 p.m., 9 p.m., and 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That will be right back here on PGR eSports. That will also be one continuous link. Saturday is a bit interesting. It's the unique day of the 4. Saturday at 1 p.m. and 2 p.m. Eastern will be Heats 7 and 8, the final 2 heat races to set the field for the 2 dual races. Those 2 duels will go off at 4 p.m. Eastern and 5:30 p.m. Eastern. There will be 2 separate broadcast links that day, one for the 2 heat races and one for the 2 dual races to go off in the evening. And then Sunday afternoon, it's the granddaddy of them all. It's the crown jewel. It's the second biggest race of the year for PGR and the biggest sim racing event of the summer. It's the second annual PGR SummerSlam 499. The race will go green around 1 p.m. Eastern. The field will be set by dual finishing order. The broadcast will go live sometime earlier than that, probably around 12:30 for an extended pre-race show leading in to what should be an electric 499 miles of racing on Sunday afternoon here from the plains of Alabama. That is the next week and a half of PGR scheduling. Certainly hope you'll come along for the ride with us. Again, if you want to get signed up, there are spots available to race in next weekend SummerSlam 499 Crown Jewel event. Go to pgresports.com. The sign-up form is right on the landing page. You fill out the information, get your name in the hat for a chance at $1,750 and a championship belt and your name in PGR Immortality. Again, plenty of spots still left. Come join us for that event. You heard the guys talking earlier about it. You heard the pep talks about come race this thing. Come join us for the SummerSlam. Stephen Miles said it. Get in on this. It's a lot of fun. If you like what you saw tonight, come race it with us next weekend. Who knows? Maybe you can go home with the big money and the championship belt. Thanks, everybody, for coming out tonight. Big viewership. Really appreciate the support here tonight at Talladega. Going to be a lot of fun as we continue down this road to the SummerSlam 499. Can't wait to keep on with all of you coming along for the journey with us as well. It's going to just about do it for us tonight from Talladega Superspeedway. My name is Dawson Wise. You've been watching PGR eSports coverage of a recruitment race for the SummerSlam 499. Nick Seipel completes an electric team effort for he, Kyler Wynn, and Stephen Miles as they come home 1-2-3. It's Nick Seipel in PGR victory lane here in the recruitment race. That's going to just about do it for us tomorrow night. Plenty going on here on PGR eSports. Ron Morse Racing's Tuesday Night Thunder playoffs, Grindstone Development's Truck Series, as well as my own Challenger Cup Series broadcast going on tomorrow night. Come join us. Come be a part of it. We hope to see you back real soon for the SummerSlam